Number 10, the agreeable friend. You know that friend who has no preferences or is always indifferent? You ask them where they want to eat or suggest a movie to watch, and their response is almost always, I'm easy or whatever you want. You might see this as them being flexible and low maintenance, but this isn't flexibility, it's a form of self erasure. For someone terrified of conflict, stating a personal preference feels like an act of aggression. This self suppression leads to identity diffusion, where they become so skillful at mirroring others' needs that they genuinely forget their own preferences. And their brain has learned that having an opinion could lead to disagreement, and disagreement feels like a battle. So they preemptively surrender their own desires on the altar of group harmony, slowly forgetting they even have a preference at all. And this act of kindness, of being indifferent and agreeable, is actually a deeply ingrained fear of advocating for yourself. Number 9, the conflict firefighter. You're the one who immediately tries to shut down any disagreements or arguments. You might think you're a wise diplomat or an essential mediator, but you're actually a conflict firefighter, where the emotional tension of others is processed by your brain and nervous system as a literal threat. So your response is to step in and attempt to reconcile. This pattern originates from the parentified child experience, where they were trained to manage the emotional climate of a chaotic home. And as an adult, their brain maintains this hypervigilance, mistaking external discord for impending disaster. So their intervention isn't about finding a resolution, it's about a personal and reflexive act to neutralize the uncomfortable feelings of the atmosphere so their dysregulated nervous system can calm down. They aren't building a bridge, they're just trying to muffle a sound that is unbearable to them. Number 8, the shielded compliment. Ever tell your friend that you like their haircut even though deep inside you didn't? You call this being polite or sparing their feelings, but this white lie is an emotional defense mechanism rooted in fear of their disappointment. Science calls it emotional buffering, where the brain calculates that the short term, awkward truth is a higher risk scenario than the guaranteed safety of the comforting lie. Why? Because the truth opens the door to their potential disappointment, anger, or sadness. While the lie preserves external peace, it creates cognitive dissonance, a painful internal split between what you know and what you say. You are slowly sacrificing your own internal honesty and consistency just to bypass a 5-second moment of relational friction. That insincere compliment is actually a cowardly retreat from the momentary fear of disappointing someone you care about. Number 7, the anxiety fixer. You have this ability to know when your friends are struggling or in a bad mood. Your first instinct is to try to fix it. You ask what's wrong, what can you do? Attempting everything to help alleviate it. This isn't just empathy, it's emotional enmeshment. You lack a firm boundary between your feelings and theirs. So their unhappiness hijacks your sympathetic nervous system, setting off the fight or flight alarm bells in your brain. You are trying to control their emotion because your brain registers their pain as an emergency for you. You aren't just trying to cheer them up. You're actually trying to manage your own overwhelming anxiety by regulating their emotions. It's an effort to control the external environment. This burden of constantly trying to manage the world's feelings leads directly to fatigue and burnout. You are attempting to plug an emotional ocean with a thimble, and this kind act of fixing is truly a desperate fear of being near someone who is emotionally out of control. Number 6, the resentment dam. You never express displeasure directly. You agree to a request, then silently punish the person by coincidentally forgetting the task. Since direct confrontation is an unacceptable, terrifying threat, your system chooses the long, slow, internal burn of passive aggression. This is not peacefulness, nor is it just non confrontational. This is unspoken rage, and unexpressed anger doesn't disappear, it settles in your body. This repressed hostility has been linked to elevated cortisol levels and chronic inflammation. The dam of silence you build to keep the peace outside is slowly poisoning your physical chemistry inside. And this kindness of silent agreement is actually a choice to sacrifice your internal peace to avoid the external conflict you fear. Number 5, the instant surrender. You say yes to favors and requests before even hearing what it is. This doesn't come from a place of generosity or selflessness. Instead, it is the fawn response in full operation. That tiny pause between the request and the response is a dangerous void where conflict could be born. To eliminate that risk, your brain bypasses your logic center and deploys an instantaneous reflex of compliance. The yes is a subconscious signal to the other person that you are compliant and harmless. You are sacrificing your future time, energy, and well being just to avoid the possibility of a difficult conversation. This reflexive act of kindness is actually an act of self sabotage fueled by the fear of deliberation. Number 4, the boundary justifier. Ever known someone who takes very long to decline an invitation, and when they do, it always comes with a long list of explanations, excuses, and justifications? You might think they are being considerate, but this is them catastrophizing the outcome of the refusal. Their brain believes that a simple no will diminish the relationship. So, to soften the blow, they feel the need to present logistical, airtight, irrefutable justifications. They are trying to shift the blame from their personal choice to an external force they couldn't control. And this kindness of over explaining is a panic response rooted in the fear that their needs aren't inherently valid. Number 3, the identity camouflage. We've all seen these types of people. Their personal views and opinions seem to magically mirror whoever they are talking to. In one group, they're passionate about one thing. In another, they're completely against it. We might mistake this as open mindedness or someone easily persuaded, but this unusual behavior is often a sign of the abandonment self. Their primary goal is guaranteed belonging. They are trading their authenticity for safety. They are not choosing a belief, they are simply mirroring the safest, most agreeable position in the environment. This chronic abandonment of genuine thought leads to a crippling lack of self concept clarity and fuels their imposter syndrome. The agreeable kindness of mirroring is the brain's ultimate fear of standing alone in its own convictions. Their fear of disagreement is so deeply rooted that their brain's primary survival directive is to find the safest position in the room, which is always someone else's. Their personality becomes a form of camouflage to avoid ever being seen as a target. Number 2, the Goodwill Bribery. Ever known someone who's always buying people gifts, doing favors, and giving out compliments? They buy drinks for strangers they just met, help people they barely know, or compliment everybody for no reason at all. This isn't genuine generosity, it's transactional altruism. Their brain views human connection through a lens of emotional debt and currency. This insincere generosity is a preemptive defense mechanism against abandonment, a subconscious form of bribery designed to build up so much goodwill that they could never be upset with them or leave. They are trying to manufacture indispensability, hoping to control the relationship's stability by making the other person perpetually slightly obligated. This constant effort to buy peace and affection is an unsustainable strategy. The bribery masked as kindness is a prepayment meant to avoid the inevitable conflict of rejection or abandonment. And this manufactured obligation rarely succeeds, leading to burnout and a deep confusion about the nature of unconditional connection. Number one, the chronic de-escalator. This is the person who, at the slightest hint of a raised voice, a frown, or a sharp tone, will immediately fold. They will apologize, concede the point, and take the blame, even when they have done nothing wrong. This is the rawest form of conflict fear. This isn't a conscious choice, it's a lightning fast trauma response. Their nervous system has been wired to interpret any sign of displeasure as a catastrophic threat. Their immediate surrender is not humility. It is a deeply ingrained, reflexive impulse to make themselves non threatening to the perceived threat. And this kindness of thoughtless submission is actually a visceral fear of escalation and confrontation that overrides all logic. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to see more.